I came to Greece. Everyone said it's beautiful, full of history, ancient ruins, and amazing food. The kind of place you visit to relax, take some photos, maybe learn something. But I must have taken the wrong tour, because I ended up here. For years, I've been replaying my favorite arcade shooters, like Shadow Warrior, Painkiller, and of course, Serious Sam. But it took me a stupidly long time to realize that there was another game lurking in my memory. A game that's basically Serious Sam, sprinkled with Greek mythology, a suspiciously horny Zeus, yeah, you heard that right, and enough high-speed gunplay to melt your brain. Oh, and you can see feet. Let's not forget about that. This game is none other than Will Rock. And I know a bunch of you just shouted up like, "Aw, damn, I remember this game." But the big question is, will Rock rock? I wanted to use that joke for such a long time. The game was made by Saber Interactive, who later did some pretty nice stuff like Inversion and Time Shift. Watch my video on that, by the way. And the studio is still around, even today. However, they switched up their style a little bit. They've worked on a lot of different genres, like Spin Tires, Crysis Remastered, and basically whatever you can think of, these guys probably worked on it. Back in 2003, Will Rock was published by Ubisoft. No, not Ubisoft, Ubisoft, if that makes sense. You know, that was the time when they still had dignity and wasn't releasing half-finished crap every 6 months. But hey, that's a different story. Now let's see Will Rock's story. Will Rock is about, well, William Rock. That's it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Nah, I'm just kidding. So here is the deal. Back in ancient times, the Greek gods got their butts kicked by the Romans and ended up sealed away in a secret vault guarded by Prometheus himself. Fast forward to modern day, an organization called the Olympian Restoration Army, or ORA, wants to break them out and restore the old ways. Yeah, you know what? They are 100% a cult. And this is where Dr. Headstrong, yes, that's his real name, an archaeologist from Chicago, comes in the picture. He gets invited to Greece to uncover the lost Olympus with his crew, including our guy Will Rock, who's absolutely simping for the prof's daughter, Emma. Once the guys get to Greece, they meet up with another science team, and of course, things go sideways fast. Turns out the other scientists are actually cult members. They force Headstrong to open the vault, get him killed, and even kidnap the girl. In this chaos, Will accidentally smashes the Prometheus statue, which releases the Titan's soul straight into Will's body. Now that he's inside us, he wants to make a deal. We help him kill Zeus and take his treasures, and in exchange, he will give us his powers, and maybe even help rescue the girl we're stalking. And of course, the deal is on. Now Will's possessed, angry, and ready to fight. We've got 4 bosses to beat: a giant Cyclops, Hephaestus, the god of fire and metalworking, Medusa, you know, that's the lady who turns stuff into stone, and Zeus. Yeah, I don't think I have to introduce him. This means 4 different layers, each with a final boss at the end. Awesome. But hey, let's start from the beginning. The game starts off here, at the entrance of the Lost Olympus. But only a few seconds later, we get the first arena. And the second I stepped in here, I knew this game was gonna be different. Just look at this place. The Greek vibes, the gorgeous art, the pillars, and the insane scale. It looks ridiculously cool for 2003. The first few rooms are basically tutorials. First, we need to get used to the standard pistol, which has infinite ammo but requires a reload occasionally. But unlike most shooters where the basic gun sucks, here it's actually decent. Okay, now that we know how to use the pistol, let's talk enemies. Most of them are straight from Greek mythology, and honestly, that's super cool. We will be fighting satyrs, discus throwers, centaurs, Greek soldiers, pretty much everything from your 5th grade history book. But let's talk about the first ones we run into, the Minotaurs. And oh my god, I hate them. When these guys die, they leave a blood splatter that will spawn even more Minotaurs. I felt like Sisyphus pushing that boulder up the hill. You see, I know Greek mythology. Anyway, oh my homies hate the Minotaurs. After a quick puzzle, we grab our first real weapon, the shotgun. I mean, it's called a shotgun, but come on. Have these guys ever seen a shotgun before? Because they surely don't look like this. It's more like a rifle, to be honest. Super accurate for longer ranges, but has a slow rate of fire. A decent gun, but definitely not my favorite. And let me tell you, even with this shiny new weapon, killing Minotaurs is still a nightmare. Oh, and did I mention that sometimes they pretend to be statues? Thank you, game. That's exactly what I needed. And this brings me to the first and most important wheel rock lesson. Never stop moving. Seriously, the second you slow down, you're toast. But hear me out, that's a good thing. That's one of my favorite things about this game. I love that it keeps you in constant motion, always running, always gunning, no breaks, no looking back. Moving on, after dodging some traps and collecting artifacts, we finally reach the first altar. This is where we can trade treasures for power-ups. Treasures are scattered throughout the levels. Some of them are pretty well hidden actually, so it's always worth exploring a little bit. In terms of power-ups, we have 3 options. Immortality, which is, yeah, God mode. Titan damage, which is basically insta-kill. And Titan motion, that's supposed to be bullet time, but let's be honest, it's just awkward. After loading up with power-ups, we meet a few new enemies, like the satyrs, who can snipe you from kilometers away. Oh, sorry. For my American viewers, that's like 4,921 Costco hot dogs in length. And yeah, I actually did the math. Then we've got the birds. Fast, annoying, and hard to deal with. Not the worst, but definitely up there. Thankfully, this is also when the game hands us the crossbow, and let me tell you, it slaps. This thing sets enemies on fire instantly. They just burn up and turn to ash. Beautiful. And this is where it hit me. Wheel Rock isn't just another mindless run-and-gun shooter. No. Every enemy actually needs a slightly different approach. Like the Minotaurs, for example. If you kill them with regular weapons, they leave a splatter behind. But with the crossbow, no splatter, no response, problem solved. So even though combat looks like chaos with all the dodging and sprinting, you're also thinking and trying to pick the right weapon for each target. And I think this is fantastic. Anyway, we end up entering this open area. Wait a second, that kinda looks like a boss arena. Oh, it is. Okay. The first boss is a giant cyclops. He can lob fireballs, spawn a horde of smaller enemies, but he's not the toughest guy around. Once he goes down, we finally enter the Domain of Hephaestus, and this is where the real game begins. Locations become a lot more interesting, with outdoor temples, dark dungeons, crumbling ruins, and everything looks amazing. You can tell the artists had a blast building these environments. I wouldn't be surprised if they flipped through 100 different history books, to be honest. This is also where we finally pick up the minigun. Thank God. It's the perfect weapon against these annoying flying cupids, who by the way look like Bob from Messiah. Watch my video on that, okay? And their audio is just, oh God, listen. Anyway, after a quick platforming section over a glowing lava pool that looks surprisingly gorgeous, we meet our next boss, Hephaestus himself. Ooh, big guy. And unfortunately, this is where my biggest issue with Wheel Rock comes in the picture. If you save up the immortality and Titan damage and use them at the same time, bosses just melt. Yeah, in seconds. And that's kind of a letdown. I mean, there is this huge build up to them with a lot of levels, epic setup, and you would expect something big, but no, not really. Next up is Medusa's Lair, kicking off with the Temple of Argos. And for my British viewers, no, I'm not talking about this. Let me tell you, this level was a nightmare. Tons of backtracking, confusing layouts, and rats. Oh yes, rats. If you thought the kamikazes in Serious Sam were annoying, oh boy, I have some news for you. These little monsters are even worse. They are fast, they explode, and they just keep coming endlessly. And of course, this level ends in a room absolutely full of them. Thanks, I hate it. Then we go down to the underworld of Tartarus, a prison for the wicked, according to Greek mythology. So naturally, we find all the classics here. Cerberuses, giant cyclopses, and yes, more rats. Cause nothing is more wicked than those Another gorgeous lava section. I feel like the devs were on fire. Am I right? And I finally set eyes on this beauty, my absolute favorite weapon in the entire game, the Medusa gun. This bad boy turns enemies into stone. Yeah, you heard me right. Just point, shoot, wait a second, and they all shatter into pieces. It's hilarious and satisfying and hilarious again. But let's give some credit to my second favorite too, the acid gun. It makes enemies inflate like balloons and then pop. Come on, you gotta admit, that's incredible. I don't think I've seen anything like this in any other shooter. And if you pair it with the bullet time, oh, I love it. After popping some centaurs and crossing a pool of acid, that looks insane by the way, we finally reach the boss, Mama Medusa. And this time, the power-ups didn't last long enough. Oh crap, run. I was sprinting around like a maniac, completely unprepared, but somehow managed to win. Barely. And from here on, the game really turns up the difficulty. Every level throws everything at you. Enemy swarms, traps, platforming, puzzles, and even some returning friends. Oh, that's lovely. The only saving grace I had in these trying times was the new gun. This thing melts everything, literally. Once we reach Mount Olympus, it's full speed ahead to the final showdown. And when I say full speed, I mean hundreds of enemies. All of them packed into one final stretch. I'm not gonna lie, I just ran. Didn't fight, didn't look back, just bolted straight to Zeus. And it was finally time to take him down. But Zeus is no joke. He hurls lightning, fireballs, and summons half the underworld. Needless to say, power-ups didn't do much. This was by far the hardest part of the game. I'm pretty sure I died at least 100 times. I even checked out some old guides, but yeah, they were not exactly helpful.
But be careful not to turn your back on Zeus. Legend has it he's incredibly horny.
In the end, I beat him using the most dishonorable method possible, hiding under his skirt and shooting him in the ankle. Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but I will take it. Zeus dies, Emma saved, Prometheus leaves our body with the creepiest smile possible, and we are back in Chicago. And of course, Will's saga ends with a sex joke. Classic.
Was I hungover? Did I just dream this whole thing?
Oh, well, last night.
Nope. It was definitely real.
Okay, what's the final verdict? It's kind of funny that this video is coming out right after Vietcong, because the two couldn't be more different. As you can see, Wheel Rock is not groundbreaking. It uses the usual arcade/boomer shooter recipe, with tight arenas, over-the-top weapons, goofy one-liners, and massive enemy hordes. But frankly, it's also one of the most fun shooters I've played in a long time. The energy, the humor, the pacing, it all just works. Every level brings something new, groovy soundtracks, ridiculous one-liners,
9 lives my ass.
and some insane level design with the perfect atmosphere. If you're looking for a fun, fast, no-nonsense shooter with a great vibe, Wheel Rock is your game. And the best part, it's free. Yeah, another great free game. It's abandonware now, so you can download and play for nothing. I will leave a link in the description. And that's all I had for today. I would love to hear your stories with Wheel Rock. So if you played this game, or still do, or if I just unlocked the memory for you, let me know. And if you'd like to chat or play some games with us, join our Discord. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye.